Welcome to Quiet Reflections. Today, I want to share with you a story called Value of Time. Stop procrastination before it costs you everything. By the time he realized what he had lost, the river had already taken everything. The last stone slipped from his fingers just as the first light touched it. For a brief second, it sparkled not like a stone, but like something alive, something rare, something that should never have been thrown away. And then it disappeared beneath the surface, like it had never existed. He didn't move, not because he didn't understand, but because he understood too clearly. It wasn't that he never had the chance. It was that he believed he had more time, and that belief cost him everything. What would you do if you found out that the thing you've been throwing away every day was actually the most valuable thing you owned? Not money, not opportunity, time. Ethan never thought of himself as lazy. That's important, because most people who waste time don't see themselves that way. He was smart. Teachers said it all the time. Ethan, you have so much potential. His parents believed it too. His friends relied on it. He could understand things quickly, solve problems fast, explain concepts better than most. But there was something quietly controlling his life. Something small, something invisible, something that sounded harmless. I'll do it later. That was his habit. Not a dramatic flaw, not something obvious. Just a pattern, a delay here, a delay there. A promise to himself that tomorrow would be different. It never was. It started small. It always does. Clean your room. Later, finish your homework. I still have time. Practice the guitar. Maybe tomorrow. At first, nothing happened. That's the trap. Life doesn't punish you immediately. You skip once. Nothing breaks. You delay twice. Nothing collapses. You push something to tomorrow, and tomorrow still arrives. And that creates a dangerous illusion. That time is endless. That opportunities will wait, that you can always start later. But something was changing, slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. His classmates began to move forward, not suddenly, not dramatically, but consistently. One learned piano. Another joined competitions. One started waking up early. Another improved his grades week by week. And Ethan stayed in the same place. At first, he didn't notice. Then he noticed, but didn't care. Then he cared, but didn't act. And that's where the damage begins. One afternoon, Ethan sat at his desk, a blank page in front of him, an assignment due the next day. Outside his window, laughter filled the air. His friends were playing, moving, living. He picked up his pen, paused. I'll do it later. He put it down, and just like that, another moment was gone. Days turned into weeks turned into months. The delays stacked, quietly, relentlessly, not as one big failure, but as many small ones. A missed assignment, a skip practice, a promise broken, each one small, but together, heavy. Then came the exam. Ethan told himself he would catch up. He always said that. I just need one day. I just need one push. But when he sat in that room, looking at the questions, something felt different. They weren't hard. That wasn't the problem. They felt distant, like something he once knew, but hadn't touched in too long. When the results came, he didn't need to check twice. He failed, not just the test, something deeper. That night he sat alone in his room. No music, no phone, no distractions, just silence. And for the first time, later didn't feel harmless. It felt expensive. The next morning his father didn't yell, didn't lecture. He just said quietly, "You're capable of more than this." And somehow, that hurt more, because it was true. "There's someone you should talk to," his father added. At the edge of town, Ethan didn't believe in that kind of thing, but he didn't have answers either. So he went. The old man sat under a tree, still, calm, like time moved differently around him. When Ethan approached, the man didn't ask many questions. He just looked. "You look like someone who thinks he has time," he said. Ethan frowned. "I do have time. I'm young." The old man smiled slightly. That's what he thought too. Zit. And then he began. There was a fisherman who lived by a river. Every morning before sunrise, he walked the same path. Same net, same routine, same life. One morning in the dark, he stumbled upon a small sack, heavy, filled with what felt like stones. He picked it up, didn't think much of it, carried it to the riverbank. The sky was completely dark. No stars, no moon, just silence. He sat down, waiting, and with nothing to do, he reached into the sack, pulled out a stone, and threw it into the river. Plop. The sound echoed. Soft, calm, strangely satisfying. He threw another. Plop. Then another. Plop. Time passed slowly. Each throw became a rhythm. Something to fill the waiting. Something to pass the time. He didn't count, didn't think, didn't question. He just threw, one by one, without knowing, without caring, without seeing. He began to play with it, throwing some far, some near, listening to the sound, different sizes, different splashes, each one meaningless, each one gone. As the sky slowly changed, a thin line of light appeared. Darkness began to fade. The river revealed itself. Movement, flow, life. He reached into the sack again. Only one left. He held it, casually, carelessly, ready to throw. And then, light touched it. Everything stopped. It wasn't a stone. It was a diamond. His hand froze. His breath caught. His heart dropped. He looked at the sack, empty, then at the river, endless, then back at the diamond. No, the word broke out of him. No, no, no. He ran to the water, desperate, looking, hoping, searching. But the river didn't care. It kept moving. It always does. Everything he threw away, gone, not because he didn't have it, but because he didn't know what it was. Silence. The old man stopped. Ethan didn't move, because something inside him had already started breaking. And right here, before we go further, let me ask you something. Where are you listening to this story from? Drop your state in the comments. I want to see how far this message travels. The old man looked at him. You are that fisherman, and your life is that sack. Ethan looked down. Every hour is a diamond, the old man continued. But when you believe you have more, you throw them away. Ethan saw it now. Every later, every tomorrow, every delay. Not small, not harmless, but gone. That night, nothing magical happened. He didn't wake up disciplined, didn't feel motivated, didn't become a new person. He just couldn't unsee it. The next day, he almost said later, almost. Then he paused and started. One page, that was it. The next day, he delayed again, caught himself halfway, finished half the work, stopped again, frustrated, but aware. The next day, better, then worse, then better again. Change didn't come clean. It came messy, slow, uncomfortable. Some days he went back to old habits. Some days he wasted hours again. But now he noticed, and that changed everything. Weeks passed, then months. He didn't become perfect, but he became consistent. He started earlier, finished sooner, showed up more. Not always, but enough. The gap began to close. Not dramatically, but steadily. Years later, when people asked him what changed his life, he didn't talk about discipline. He didn't talk about success. He simply said, I thought I had time, and maybe that's the truth most people avoid. We don't waste time because we don't care. We waste it because we believe we have more. Until one day, we don't. Time doesn't warn you. It doesn't slow down. It doesn't wait. It just moves and takes everything you don't use with it. So let me ask you this. What are you throwing into the river right now, thinking it's just a stone? And what will it cost you when you finally realize it wasn't? Subscribe for more stories like this.